Most people only recognize a narcissist after the damage is already done. By then, the emotional hooks are set. The extraction has started. What almost no one sees is the selection phase that happens long before the first clear attack. Narcissists do not choose at random. They scan, they test, they measure. The signs appear early if a person knows exactly where to look. The first signal is the speed of attention. A narcissist rarely drifts into a space and waits. Their focus lands on one person with unusual intensity. That intensity feels flattering at first. The brain registers sudden focused attention as high social value. Status systems inside the mind treat concentrated interest from another person as a form of ranking. When someone stares longer, listens harder, and remembers small details faster than normal, the nervous system labels it as importance. That label is the opening the narcissist needs. Here is the first clear example. In a group setting, most people divide their attention. A narcissist does the opposite. Within minutes, they lock onto one person and stay locked. They ask follow-up questions that feel personal. They repeat small details the person mentioned only once. The target feels specially chosen. That feeling is the first trap. The narcissist is not connecting. They are confirming that this person responds strongly to focused attention. Once that response is confirmed, the mapping begins. A second version of this same signal appears in one-on-one conversations. The narcissist leans in slightly more than normal. Their eye contact lasts longer than is comfortable. They do not look away when the other person pauses. Most people feel a small internal pressure to keep talking under that kind of gaze. The narcissist uses that pressure. The longer the target talks, the more data they hand over. The person who keeps filling the silence is revealing how much they need the interaction to stay smooth. Watch how they gather information in the first meetings. Ordinary people share surface details and move on. A narcissist extracts deeper data with almost no resistance. They ask questions that feel caring but are precise. They note what makes the other person light up. They note what makes them go quiet. They note who they try to impress and who they try to hide from. This is not conversation. It is mapping. The human mind automatically offers more information when it feels seen. The narcissist uses that reflex. They create the feeling of being understood, so the other person keeps feeding them usable material. Here is a concrete example. A target mentions they recently had a difficult time with a family member. A normal person might offer a short response and change the subject. A narcissist stays on the topic. They ask how it made the target feel. They ask what the family member did wrong. They ask whether this has happened before. Each answer gives them a clearer map of emotional weak points. The target walks away feeling heard. The narcissist walks away with a working list of pressure points that can be used later. Another version of this information gathering happens around values. The narcissist listens carefully for what the target says they care about most. Loyalty, honesty, independence, kindness. Once they hear the value, they begin reflecting it back. This is not agreement. It is strategic mirroring. The brain treats people who share our stated values as safer and more trustworthy. The narcissist deliberately becomes a mirror, so the target lowers their guard faster than they normally would. Another early marker is the way they respond to mild boundaries. Most people accept a soft no and adjust. A narcissist tests the no almost immediately. They push a little. They joke past it. They reframe it as temporary. The goal is simple. They need to know how much force is required to move the line. When a person gives ground even slightly, the narcissist files that information. The brain of the target experiences a small drop in internal authority. That drop is measurable. The person feels a brief unease and then often overrides it to keep the interaction smooth. That override is exactly what the narcissist is measuring. Clear example. A person says they prefer not to talk about money. A narcissist might smile and say, "I get it, but I'm just curious how you think about these things." If the target gives even a small answer, the boundary has been tested and found soft. The narcissist notes that a little pressure was enough. Later, they will use stronger pressure on more important boundaries because the early test showed the person will bend. A second boundary test often appears around time. The narcissist suggests plans that slightly inconvenience the target and then watches the response. If the target rearranges their schedule with little resistance, the narcissist records that the person's time is flexible. Flexible time is useful later when the narcissist wants priority access. Pay attention to how they handle competition in the early stage. If another person receives praise or attention in the same space, watch the micro-reaction. A narcissist rarely celebrates it cleanly. There is a flicker of something colder, a slight tightening, a quick change of subject, or a subtle undercut delivered as a joke. Status hierarchies are processed in the same brain systems that track physical threat. When a narcissist detects rising status in someone near their chosen target, the threat response activates. They move to reduce the competition before it grows. Example: in a group, someone else makes the target laugh. The narcissist may wait a few seconds and then make a quiet comment that lowers the other person's standing. It sounds light. It is not light. It is a small status correction. The goal is to keep the target's attention flowing toward them and away from anyone else who might offer a healthier connection. The idealization phase begins earlier than most realize. It does not wait for a relationship. It starts the moment the narcissist decides the person is useful. Compliments arrive faster and more specifically than normal. They mirror language, values, and even small mannerisms. Mirroring activates a deep social bonding circuit. When someone reflects a person's own traits back to them, the brain experiences a surge of familiarity and safety. That surge lowers defenses. The target begins to feel an unusual sense of connection. The narcissist times this carefully. They deliver the reflection at the exact moments the person is most open. Concrete example: a target says they value people who are direct. Within a short time, the narcissist begins speaking in a more blunt style and praises the target for being someone who can handle honesty. The target feels matched. That feeling is manufactured. The narcissist is reflecting the target's own stated value back at them to create rapid trust. The brain treats similarity as safety. The narcissist exploits that wiring on purpose. Watch the stories they tell about past relationships or friendships. Narcissists often present a clean narrative. Previous people were unstable, jealous, or ungrateful. They position themselves as the reasonable one who tried hard. This is not random sharing. It is preemptive framing. The brain tends to accept the first complete story it hears about a person, once that story is installed. Later, contradictory information faces resistance. The narcissist installs the story early, so any future complaints from the target will sound like the same pattern they already described. Example: early on, the narcissist mentions that their last close friend became controlling and insecure. They describe themselves as patient and misunderstood. Months later, when the current target starts to feel uneasy and speaks up, the narcissist can point back to the earlier story and say the target is becoming just like the last person. The frame was set long before the conflict began. Another clear signal is the speed of emotional escalation. Normal connections build gradually. A narcissist compresses the timeline. They create a sense of rare intensity. Shared secrets appear quickly. Future plans get mentioned sooner than makes sense. The nervous system interprets rapid closeness as high reward. The person starts to protect the connection because losing it already feels costly. The cost is manufactured. The narcissist accelerates attachment so the target has something to lose before they have enough data to evaluate the risk. Clear example: within a short period, the narcissist begins using language that suggests exclusivity. Phrases like, "I've never told anyone this," or "You're the only person who understands this side of me." The target feels special. That specialness is a tool. The brain assigns higher value to things that feel rare. By making the connection feel rare early, the narcissist raises the emotional cost of walking away later. Look at how they treat people they no longer need. Even in the early phase, small examples appear. A waiter, a former colleague, someone who once helped them. The dismissive tone is light but consistent. Empathy is selective. It turns on when the person is useful and turns off when the person is not. The human mind is built to track consistency in social behavior. When kindness appears and disappears based on utility, a quiet alarm should sound. Most people override that alarm because the current attention feels good. The testing of loyalty starts before any real commitment. A narcissist may share a mild criticism of someone the target likes and watch the response. Or they may ask the target to take a small side against another person. These are not casual moments. They are calibration tools. The brain of the target experiences a small loyalty conflict. If they side with the narcissist even slightly, the internal cost is recorded. The narcissist notes how easily the person can be pulled away from existing bonds. Silence is another early test. A narcissist sometimes creates a short, unexplained gap, a delayed reply, a cooler tone. Then they watch. The person who reaches out first, who explains, who tries to repair the nothing, has revealed a need for closure. The brain hates unresolved social loops. That discomfort is a lever. Once the narcissist sees the person cannot tolerate the open loop, they know how to use silence later as pressure. A clear example of the silence test. After a good conversation, the narcissist goes quiet for a day or two with no explanation. If the target sends a message checking in or asking if everything is okay, the narcissist learns that silence creates anxiety in this person. That knowledge becomes a future tool. The person who can sit with silence without chasing is harder to control. The person who can't is easier. Watch the eyes during praise of others. Genuine people can stay present when someone else is elevated. A narcissist often cannot. There is a micro shift. Attention leaves the conversation for a fraction of a second, or the smile becomes tighter. Status is not shared easily in their system. The presence of higher status near their target is processed as a threat to the supply line they are building. The way they handle their own mistakes is revealing even early on. Minor errors are reframed or minimized with unusual speed. Responsibility is shifted outward almost automatically. The mind prefers clean self-narratives. A narcissist maintains a cleaner self-story than most people by refusing to absorb blame. When a small fault appears, watch how fast the explanation moves the weight onto circumstances or other people. That speed is not normal. They also study the target's relationship with their own needs. A person who apologizes too quickly for having needs, who downplays their own preferences, who over-explains when they say no, is marked. The narcissist sees low internal priority. People who treat their own boundaries as optional are easier to extract from later. The early conversations reveal this. The person who laughs off discomfort or rushes to smooth over tension shows the exact trait the narcissist is hunting. Another marker is the absence of real curiosity about the target's full life. A narcissist appears intensely interested, but the interest is narrow. They focus on the parts that relate to them or that can be used. Broader questions about the person's independent world stay surface level. True interest explores. Extraction interest maps. The difference is visible once a person looks for it. The body often knows before the mind does. A slight tightening in the chest during certain conversations. A low-level fatigue after spending time with them. A sense of performing rather than resting. These are not random. The nervous system tracks dominance and safety continuously. When a person is being assessed rather than met, the body registers the difference even if the conscious mind is still enjoying the attention. Narcissists prefer targets who have a history of fixing other people. The rescuer pattern is visible early. The person who offers help too fast, who carries more than their share of emotional weight in early talks, who feels responsible for the other person's comfort, is easier to install into a caretaking role. Once that role is accepted, extraction becomes efficient. The target already believes their value lies in what they provide. Watch how they respond when the target is unavailable. A healthy person adjusts. A narcissist often increases pressure or cools dramatically. Both responses serve the same goal. They measure how much the target will rearrange life to restore access. The person who cancels other plans or feels guilty for being busy has shown the cost they are willing to pay. The language of destiny appears early with some narcissists. Phrases that frame the connection as rare, fated, or uniquely understood. The brain is vulnerable to narrative. When a connection is given a special story, the person becomes more willing to protect it. Ordinary caution starts to feel like betrayal of something important. That shift is engineered. They also watch how the target handles their own anger. A person who suppresses irritation quickly, who apologizes for raising their voice even when justified, who prioritizes peace over accuracy, is noted. The ability to stay calm under small provocations is useful later. The narcissist needs to know the target will absorb tension rather than return it. The final early pattern is the quiet inventory of the target's support system. Questions about family, close friends, and who they turn to in hard times are not casual. A person with weak or distant support is easier to isolate later. A person with strong, consistent support is harder. The narcissist prefers the first type. They gather this data while the target still believes they are simply being known. Once these signals are visible, the selection is already underway. The narcissist has not yet escalated. They are still in the assessment window. Most targets only see the later stages: idealization, devaluation, discard. The real power lies in recognizing the scan before the investment deepens. The person who can see the mapping, the testing, the accelerated closeness, and the selective empathy for what they are, has a chance to step back while the cost is still low. The brain is designed to bond under focused attention and mirrored understanding. That design is older than language. A narcissist does not create new levers. They simply press the ones already built into human wiring: the focused gaze, the rapid intimacy, the early loyalty tests, the manufactured scarcity of their approval. Each one exploits a specific circuit. Recognition of those circuits is the only reliable defense before the targeting becomes complete. When the signs appear together, the pattern is clear: intense early focus, precise information gathering, boundary testing, status sensitivity, accelerated closeness, selective empathy, loyalty probes, silence tests, narrative control about the past. The person who can hold all of these in view at once sees the selection process while it is still happening. Most people experience only the later chapters. The ones who learn to see the opening moves gain the only real advantage available. They can leave the board before the game is fully set.